Good afternoon everyone, or good morning, or good night, good evening, whatever you want to call it. My name is MrYorkiesWorld, and we are back again today in the 737-800 Southwest Airlines flight number 1639, going from New Orleans all the way to Nashville, Tennessee. I decided to get away from the UK flights for a while, the EU, and do a little bit of US, so there we go. Let's see how it goes. I'm just going to prepare the doors and everything, and obviously prepare the FMC. I've got a new checklist that I'm going to be following. It hopefully will follow the real-world checklist. We're going to be taking 14,041 pounds worth of fuel. With a bit of luck, the new procedure that I follow will work. We're going to align the IRSs to nav, and we will also, looking at the upper overhead, open the fuel pumps, switch on the ISO valve to auto. APU can come on, switch that to the middle. We will turn on the logo lights and the wheel well lights. We don't need the wing lights just yet. Arm the emergency lights. Let's just have a look. I'm just following the procedures here. Seatbelts can go on, the chime can go on, and everything, all that good stuff. 380 today is going to be the cruise altitude. Let's have a look. So enter the IRS position. Right, let's go to init ref. We are flying today from KMSY, or Kilo Mike Sierra Yankee. The gate doesn't work, so I'm not even going to bother with that. GPSL. Stick that in there. We're going to go to the route page. We've already got a route set up. KMSY to KBNA, or Kilo Bravo November Alpha, which is Nashville, Tennessee. It does say runway 11, but we're not. We're going to be going from runway 28. I don't know why, but it just won't accept it at this airport. Zero fuel weight 121.8 with a reserve of 3.0. Cost index is 36, I believe, for Southwest Airlines. And 380 is the cruise altitude for today. 24 kd rate takeoff with a flaps 5 setting as always. Centre of gravity 23.8% with a trim of 5.08. We'll put that in just a second. Just going to bring up some weather, and for some reason it says 0 at 0 knots. I don't think that's correct, but you never know. We're just going to leave it then. We're not going to put the wind in on the takeoff ref page just yet. We're going to calculate the V-speeds, 133, 134 and 144. We're going to leave the TCAS off for the moment, or the transponder off for the moment. The frequency is going to be 110.75 for the destination airport over at Nashville. And we're going to hopefully be landing at runway 02 centre. So let's just close some doors for GSX. They've just finished doing the catering, and hopefully in a moment we'll start off the boarding process. Let's just sort a few things out here. So we have 144 as the V2 speed. Data and traffic and everything, flight directors can go on both sides. Cruise altitude 380. There we are. We'll arm LNAV and VNAV, except VNAV doesn't want to work. Just going to check the heading for this runway, just bear with me a moment. So it's 286 for runway 28, which is predictable really. I know it's going to be 28 something. 286. Everything else is on. We'll arm the auto throttle in just a second. We don't need to do that just yet. What else? So everything else looks fine. We'll cancel that warning for now. Engine page is on, so we can see that ready for takeoff. Yaw damper can come on. The window heat switches, I'm not going to switch on the probe heats just yet. They can wait. While we're at it, we might as well go down and set the auto brake to RTO. There we are. And I think everything's sorted near enough now. We're going to transfer the power from the APU. Get that all transferred and ready. But the main thing we're waiting for at the moment is for the boarding to start. And then as soon as that starts, guys, we can just go ahead and wait for it to finish. Look at this. Lovely Southwest 737-800. Nearly said 777 then, actually. Right, this is a bug. As you can see, the door is open. The left entry forward door is open. but because of GSX I actually have to close it and then reopen it again for it to actually recognise that that it's open for some reason. I've no idea why that is. If anybody's got a fix for that, let me know. I would be extremely grateful. So basically we're waiting now just for the passengers to finish boarding, or to start boarding in the first place and then eventually finish boarding, which they have done, as you can hear. And once that's done, we'll be able to get to the next part of the checklist. We've already done the pre-flight checklist there, going through all those options. The next one is going to be the before start checklist, and that'll be after we've closed all the doors and everything. I should really have mentioned while I'm actually recording it what stage of the pre-flight checklist we're on. But anyways, I'll catch up with you guys once the passengers are boarded and we start the next checklist. Okay guys, so there we go, the passengers are finally boarded. We're going to go ahead and close all the doors now just to make sure that nobody falls out of the plane or anything daft like that. Again, runway 11, I've no idea why it won't let me select runway 28. But anyway, close all the doors and everything. Get all that completed and then we can move on to the before start checklist. Put that on the legs page just for now. Get rid of that discontinuity, just close it up like that. Just going to make sure the doors are actually closed. Have a look outside, there we are. Everything looks like it's done. So, we should be okay to start the before start checklist now. Go back into the cockpit, so the first thing is the auto throttle, which needs to be armed, so we'll go ahead and do that. The hydraulic pumps are next, so we'll switch those on. Anti-collision light, that's down here, we can switch that on now. And the ground equipment, we can disconnect ground power and everything else that goes with it. And that's it, we're ready for pushback now, so the before start checklist is now complete. I'm going to request pushback from GSX. Going tail left today. Alright, so it looks like we're going to have to wait to start the engines, which is unusual, but then again the temperature is -1 by the looks of it. I think what I'll do is I'll switch on the anti-ice while we're waiting, just to make sure that's on. Probably don't need it, once we've taken off and everything will be fine. I just want to make sure that I don't miss that. So it is -1. So we're just literally waiting for GSX to begin the pushback. We'll have to start the engines after we've been pushed back, because the ice conditions, apparently. Hope you guys are enjoying this so far. I've changed my PTA preset, by the way, to a preset by Chewy94. If you don't know who he is on YouTube, I'll put a link to his channel in the description. He's actually a really good flight sim enthusiast, very similar to Matt Davies. Let's just release the parking brake now. But yeah, but he is very much like Matt Davies. He's a very, very avid enthusiast of flight sim. He uses X-Plane 11 and also P3D. His videos have actually inspired me, as well as Matt Davies, to actually begin flight sim in the first place. So I was watching him for quite a while before actually making my own channel. But this is his preset, the PTA one. You can see that the weather's pretty clear at the moment, but it's going to change. We're going to get some wind on the way there. We're going to have a crosswind on runway 02 centre. So that might make it a little bit difficult just to land the plane, but we'll give it a go. Try and get over there in one piece. Making a nice turn now to the left, tail left. That's where the clock is. I forgot that was actually where it was. I keep pressing the... there's like 4 little buttons around the clock itself. And I keep pressing the one on the upper left corner, but I didn't realise there's actually a clock button right there, so... Oh well. I don't know how far they're going to push me back, but... Stock scenery. I've not got any actual scenery for this airport, unfortunately, and I don't have any scenery for Nashville either. I was going to buy some, but again, it's down to the situation where it's just... Some of it's too expensive, and to be honest, some of it doesn't even make much difference to how things look, so... Set the parking brake, and we'll go ahead and start engine number 2. Gonna wait while the N2 spools up a little bit. Usually do it to around 20, but I might do it to about 15 this time. That's enough for me, I'll stick it up there. Nice wing view of the engine starting, number 2 there. And we're just going to wait while it fully spools up, and we'll start engine number 1. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and just get the takeoff ref page. 5.08, I was just checking the trim there. GSX is doing a nice job there. Not going to transfer the power just yet until the engines are both started. There was the cutoff for number 2 should I say, and we're starting number 1. Again, we're going to wait while the N2 gets to about 15 or maybe 20, possibly sooner. Usually don't have any problems starting the engines, so here we go. Left and right are clear now. Look at that, I love the interior design of this aircraft. Nice left wing view there of engine number 1 spooling up. Right, have a good trip. Cheers, GSX. Right, okay, so the first thing that we've done is we've started the engines. Now that they're done, we can switch on the taxi lights and the runway turn off just while we're waiting for engine number 1 to fully spool up. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch on the probe heat switches. So that was the cutout there we just heard. Nice click. Wait while the N2 gets to about 58. There we are. That'll do, I think, that'll do. Right. Probe heats, they can go on now. The anti-ice is fine. APU power, we'll go ahead and transfer it. Packs, auto. ISO valve, that's already on auto. APU bleed, we'll switch that off, and finally switch off the APU itself. The start switches can go to continuous. And it's now time to set the flaps, so we'll go ahead and set them to flaps 5 for takeoff. And I'll try and get a nice wing view for you guys. There we are, you can see the flaps beginning to move. All the way down to 5, ready for takeoff. Next step is obviously the trim. We're currently going through the before taxi checklist. So we're down to the flaps at the moment. Okay, so elevator trim is 5.08, so we're going to stick that in here. As long as it's round 5, I'm not too bothered. That'll do, I think. Flight controls, so we'll do a forward and back. Looks fine. Full left, full right. Rudder left, rudder right. And we're looking good, so that's the flight controls complete. Taxi lights are already on and the runway turn-off lights are already on, so we are basically ready to go. That is the before taxi checklist complete. So we can go ahead and release the parking brake and begin taxiing. Again, we're taxiing to runway 28 and we'll be departing very, very shortly. This is actually the real time that the actual flight should have departed. This is based on a real flight plan, the Southwest Airlines flight number Whiskey November 1639 from New Orleans to Nashville. Now hopefully on the way what's going to be happening is we're going to be flying northeast from New Orleans here, KMSY, as we travel to Nashville. We'll be travelling approximately 493 miles, taking around an hour and 20 minutes. Hopefully an hour and 20 minutes, although there might be a little bit of a tailwind, so we might end up not taking that long, hopefully. Again, the cruise altitude is 38,000 feet. We are going to be passing over Philadelphia and Jackson on the way, and finally into Tennessee, where we'll hope to land at runway 02 center, if all goes well. We don't have traffic enabled or anything like that, so it should be pretty straightforward. So back to the PTA preset that I'm using. Again, it's by Chewy94. Really nice preset. Not much different from Matt Davies' preset, but I do enjoy the haze effect in the background and stuff like that that Matt Davies didn't actually have in his. So instead of going and actually tweaking it myself, I've decided to be a little bit lazy and just download another preset from somebody else, which is what the majority of people do, I suppose. There are people out there who like to tinker, should I say, with things, but me, no. I just like to do it the lazy way. So we're approaching the runway here. We're not going to go straight ahead and pull onto the runway that's directly in front of us. We're actually going to take this left. Again, runway 28 is not in the FMC for this airport, and I don't know why, because it is actually labelled on the runway as runway 28. As you can see there on the taxiway, it says Sierra 28. So there we go. So the before takeoff checklist, we can enable the transponder to TA and RA. The landing lights can come on, taxi lights are off, runway turn-offs are already on. Engine's looking fine, the takeoff data's already been looked at, it's already fine. TCAS has just passed, all the flight instruments are okay. Let's go ahead and sort the strobes out. And we will go ahead and line up correctly. Start the clock, 40%, and there we go. Toga. Here we go. So that's the before takeoff checklist complete. $60 knots, 80 knots. V1 coming up. V1. Rotate. Pulling back nice and steady. There we are. And we are in the air. Positive rate, gear up. So this is the after takeoff checklist now. Look at that scenery. I absolutely love it. Really do love it over here in New Orleans. It's really detailed, considering the fact I've got no add-on scenery apart from Orbx. Okay, so autopilot, switch that on. Look at that. That is beautiful. So we can go ahead and lock the gear now, and auto brake is off. Engine start switch is back to normal. Runway turn-offs are off. Cabin lights, we don't really need to do anything with those because it's daytime, but look at that. Look at the haze in the background, that's what I meant. Nice little bit of haze. Really adds to the effect, I think. And how stupid of me, I forgot to arm VNAV, which means we have nearly just stalled the aircraft, so that's a brilliant start to the flight. Excellent. Anyway, we're back under control. We are gaining speed again. 380, we can spam that. Flaps we can retract according to the speed in just a second. Close shave there, guys. Nearly ended up stalling the aircraft. Don't know why VNAV randomly didn't arm. Anyway, so we can take flaps 2, and we'll go back to 1. And by the looks of it, we are safe in just a second to take the flaps back fully. I've just switched off the passenger signs. I'll switch them to auto. There we go. Flaps are on the way up. That's the after takeoff checklist complete now. We've also completed a little bit of the climb out checklist as well, which was basically to switch on the autopilot, LNAV, VNAV, configure the altimeter, landing lights, seatbelt, stuff like that. So we've basically done the after takeoff checklist and the climb out checklist. And look at that. The gorgeous Southwest Airlines in the gorgeous PMDG 737-800 with winglets. Perfect. So we're going to take it up to 10,000. We'll just set the pressurization to standard. I know we are in the US and the transition altitude is a little bit higher, but just get it done, might as well. Everything else is looking fine. I can't see anything that needs doing. Okay, right, anti-ice needs sorting out, because that's saying it's not needed now. There we are. And that literally is it. That is all we can really ask for. Don't know what that weird line is there. White line. Looks as if it's either a scenery bug or some random thing. No idea. But yeah. There we have it. Very, very quickly approaching 9,000 feet now, so I'm going to get ready to configure everything. We don't need the wheel well lights, and we don't need the logo lights. It's daytime, so that's fine. The wheel well lights are not going to be seen anyway, considering the fact that the wheel well is closed. And we're coming up on 10,000 now. And there we are. Passenger seatbelt signs have already gone off. Landing lights are off. And that's all we can really ask for. That's it. We're at 10,000 feet on our way all the way to Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm going to leave it here, guys, with a little bit of cinematic material for you. Hope you enjoy, and I will see you a little bit later on. Alright guys, we are at 38,000 now. I just thought I would show you a little bit of footage from cruise level. That haze effect is absolutely gorgeous, look at that. And obviously we are slowing down now, the engines are spooling down a little bit. We're at the maximum altitude nearly, 38,000 for this flight. Look at that view. Looking perfect. I'd really like to do a nighttime flight actually to one of these airports. I keep doing daytime ones. I miss the nighttime flights actually. But look at that. We are basically, I mean, look at this. Look at the interior. That looks really nice, like a leather. Somebody's obviously gone to a lot of trouble to actually detail this this particular livery or livery. Again, I had to download the livery separate. It's not part of the PMDG Operations Centre. But if you search Google, I'm pretty sure you'll find it. But look at that. Southwest Airlines. Heart 1, it says at the front of the aircraft there. So anyways, guys, that is it, really. I just thought I'd show you a little bit of cruise level footage just before we go back to this short cinematic experience, and then I'll meet you when we're about to land. Okay guys, so we have actually just begun our descent into Nashville, Tennessee. Hope you enjoyed the cinematics there. 32,000 feet now, so we've gone a few thousand feet down. And we're just over 100 miles away, or nearly 150 actually. So we've actually begun the descent. I'm using the vertical speed. Not going to use the automatic descent, but look at that. That is lovely. Yeah, I'm not using the automatic descent purely and simply. It's a lot nicer and smoother to actually do it yourself, to manually use vertical speed. We've actually been in the air for just over 44 minutes, so we're doing really well considering the fact that this was supposed to be an hour and 20 minutes. I'm just going to set the courses just for the landing. We're also going to go ahead and switch the frequencies to 110.75, which is the active frequency for the ILS. Again, this is now going to be basically the descent checklist, if you will. I'm going to deploy some speed brakes just to slow us down a little bit. I don't want to go over speed, and I want it to be a nice transition from 10,000 feet so that we don't end up going over speed. We've set the landing altitude. The baro minimums is 769. Auto brake is set to 2. The altimeter's been set as well. In fact, that's not even been changed. It's still on standard. And we're going to try and keep the speed to around 250 knots. We're not going to do anything with the landing lights and the passenger signs, or even the engines for that matter, until 10,000 feet. So we don't have to worry about that for quite a while yet. 20,000 feet at least to go. So yeah, I will meet you guys when we are just about to line up and everything with the ILS. So, see you in a moment. Okay guys, we're back, and we are literally at just under 6,000 feet now. Just approaching the final stage of this flight. It's now 17:45. We've been in the air for around about an hour, so hopefully when we touch down we'll manage to beat the 1 hour 20 estimated time of arrival. Or estimated duration, should I say. Obviously now, because we've got to under 10,000 feet, we've gone ahead and put the landing lights on, the passenger signs and stuff like that. I've just been using on and off some speed brakes, just to reduce the speed a little bit, because obviously we need to be at the correct speed. We've got a bit of a crosswind on the runway blowing us to the right, so hopefully we'll manage to land still. Won't have to go around or anything. Flaps 30, we're going to go with a speed of 141. That's all configured. Going to mess around with the speed a little just to make sure the nose doesn't pitch up too far. Obviously we can't help it if it does pitch up a little bit as a result of speed and everything, but we can do our best to try and reduce too much flaring. But yes, we've made it. There we are with the glide slope. The diamond has been captured a little bit. Or should I say, it's been captured. Speed brake can go away now. We are slowing down rather rapidly. I've just extended some flaps to flaps 5. Nice wing view. Look at that scenery. Absolutely love it. Look at it. The shadows and everything, it just makes it look so much more realistic than the stock scenery. I love it. So the nose is inevitably going to pitch up a little bit. I'm expecting that to happen, but there's not a great deal that I can do about it because I need to be able to slow down quickly. But look at that. I just love it. Orbx has done a fantastic job. Okay, so 3,500. We are coming up on that go-around altitude now. Going to increase the speed a little bit because we are beginning to pull the nose up a little bit. I might have to extend the flaps again, actually. Flaps 15. Or flaps 10, actually. Got that wrong. And as soon as we actually intercept it, I'm going to wait. I know that we're lifting the nose up. I don't want to increase the speed too much, though. It might be a case of just grinning and bearing it a little bit until we get captured fully or established fully on the ILS, in which case the plane will automatically pitch down. The wind obviously doesn't help. I mean, it is a crosswind, so it's not too bad, but still. So it's about around 195 is the speed. That's not really going over that, so that's alright. Again, look at the scenery. I say this in every video, but it really is worth looking at. Okay, so we should really be coming up on the ILS very shortly. Got the localizer there. But that's coming into play in just a second. We're getting closer and closer to it, and the glide slope is already begun to capture. Approach hold is on. 140 is still the speed for landing, so I'm going to set that for 141 at the moment, just to make sure. Flaps 15, and I think we'll go with gear down as well. We need a little bit more drag. Here we go, the plane is automatically turning onto the ILS now. The diamonds are near enough captured. And once that happens, what will happen is the nose will pitch down anyway. I'm going to go with flaps 30. We're near enough, nice and captured now. I'm not the best when it comes to determining speeds and stuff like that, so I do apologise if this particular approach doesn't look that impressive, but so the nose is pitching up quite a lot. I don't really want that to happen, so I've sped up a little bit. Might be pitching down by the looks of it. And that's either because of the speed or it's because the plane is automatically lining itself up, which I think it's the latter option. The plane is fully established now. So we are gear down with 3 greens, the speed brake is armed, auto brake is set, the autopilot is set as well, auto thrusts on, flaps are done, landing speed is set. Runway turn-offs on, engines are continuous, wing light can go on as well as the logo light, even though it really does not need it, and the wheel well. Stick them all on, go on. So that's the landing checklist near enough complete now. Look at that. You can't really go wrong with FTX Global. It's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Let's just hope that I do not bugger this landing up. The last few landings I've done have been absolutely shocking. So hopefully it'll not be the case on this one. I'll try and disengage the autopilot at 1000. See how well that goes. Again, we've got a speed of 140. So I've set it to 138 just to go a little bit lower than that, just to compensate for any wind. We're alright with speed at the moment. We're not dangerously slow or anything. We've got quite a bit of leeway. And we are definitely on point on the ILS. Everything's perfectly captured. Any advice for dealing with approaches like this would be fantastic. I think I do tend to put the flaps down a little bit early and the gear down a little bit early as well. But I suppose the important thing is that we get down on the ground, but I would like to try and improve. So if anybody's got any ideas, feel free to pop them in the comments section and I'll take them into account. We are now approximately an hour and 6 minutes into this flight. There we go, 1000. I'm going to try and disconnect. Here we go. Wish me luck. Aircraft's now mine. Nice and central with the runway at the moment, but that's going to change. Guarantee it. Love the scenery that's coming into play. Look at it. Shadows over there. Going to pitch up a little bit. A little bit too low there. There we are. That's going to come back nicely. And now I'm a little bit too high, so I need to pitch down a little bit. Possibly a little bit more than what I already am. Trying to keep it level with the runway as well. Speed's nice and good. We've got nice and good. Is that even a saying? Anyway, speed's good. 141 coming up on now. We look okay, to be honest. We're not too bad. 400 feet. Look how the clouds move, and it's dynamic. That's amazing. Continuing. Looking good.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, that was a bit of an hard one, but we're down. Centre line for a change. Jesus. Reverses are green. 80 knots. 60 knots. Manual braking now. Reversers are stowed. Flaps are going up. Look at that. Welcome to Nashville, Tennessee. That was a rough landing, but we're here. Oh. I take back what I said about sticking in the centre line. Stop the clock. 17:53. So that's taken 1 hour and 8 minutes as opposed to 1 hour and 20. So we did have a bit of an advantage there, actually. Just going to check. I do apologise, the sound just went. I'm just checking some details on the little nav map tool just to make sure that we are going the right direction for the gate. We'll switch the runway turn-offs off now and the landing lights. If I can actually get EasyDock to give me the correct view, that would be really helpful. I think I'm going to come to a stop here, do a little bit of clean-up, and then we'll go ahead and taxi to the actual gate. Don't know what gate we're going to taxi to just yet. I'll just check that in a second. Let's just set the parking brake a sec while we do a little bit of clean-up here and have a look at what we're dealing with. Little nav map is telling me that gate C12 is available, so we'll go to that gate. It's a nice normal size for the 737. We can go ahead and put the strobe lights to steady, engines to normal. Wing lights can go off, I know that. Keep the taxi on for now. Probe heats can go off. This is the after landing checklist. I think everything else is fine, to be honest. We will actually transfer the power. That's probably a decent option. Cancel out that warning. And again, let me just check. Gate C12. Yes, that seems to be the correct gate. So we'll go to gate C12. Again, I'm using the little nav map, and it's an absolute fantastic little tool. I'm just going to switch the frequencies over so we don't hear the annoying Morse code of the transponder. There we are. Turn it completely off as well. Or to standby at least. But yeah, little nav map, it's fantastic. It shows you an overview of each and every airport. It shows you where your airplane is in the world. With a live update of that, it shows you all the data from the simulator as well, such as the speed that you go in, the altitude, flight number, stuff like that. It's a fantastic tool. If you didn't see the video that I posted previously, I touched upon it a little bit, and I actually used some of the footage from that little program. I took a screenshot of the route, and that is actually from the program. So it's a really useful piece of freeware. Actually, you don't have to pay a penny for it, and it's really useful. It can also export flight plans for X-Plane, for P3D, for PMDG, stuff like that. So you can import them as well in certain formats. So it's a really handy little tool to have, especially considering the fact it's free, it's open source, and it's even good for planning the route itself. You can use it to plan the route. You don't have to do it online. I still use Fuel Planner in the end to actually plan the fuel, but it's I suppose I don't even know whether there's an option to do that in the program. I've not had a chance to actually explore the vast amount of options. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look to make sure there's no traffic on this particular runway that we're going to cross. There won't be, but just in case, you would do that in the real world, so that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to turn the data and traffic and the VORs off. I'll do that on the other side in a second. There we are. Switch them off. Flight directors can come off as well. I will attempt to do a multitask here and clean up a little bit more once I'm centre with the taxiway. I think I should be alright for now. So we'll bring the speed back, just cancel that out. Cancel the course. Oops, there we are. Heading, we'll set that to 000s. Altitude, again. And of course, there we are. And yes, I know I've not set the altitude to exactly like 0, but there we go. And here we are. We have got gate number C12 coming up. So I'm going to switch off the taxi lights as we turn into the gate. I really do wish now that I would have purchased some scenery for this airport, but there we are. It's we got here anyway. We managed. Maybe in the future I'll buy some scenery. The other thing is, I don't really see a point in buying scenery for an airport unless I'm actually going to use that airport regularly. So that's the only downfall. Let's just take an exterior view here, just so I can see whether I'm going to make it onto the T, literally. That'll do. There we are. Leave it at that. Parking brake set. And we will go ahead and switch off the engine cutoffs. So that's the engines shutting down now. Seatbelt signs off. We'll get GSX out in a second to sort us all out. APU bleed can come on. We'll turn the anti-collision light off. The wheel well light can come off and the logo can come off. Fuel pumps can come off. We don't need those now. Hydraulics, they can come off. And we will open the isolation valve. Everything looking good. I'm going to connect ground power now just to make sure we don't get any alarms or anything. Stick them all on, why not? Request deboarding. They don't actually have a Southwest Airlines deboarding thing for GSX, I don't know why. Anyway, here we are. So we made it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this particular flight. If you'd like to see any other flights, let me know which one you would like to see. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the aircraft now fully, as the passengers are exiting the plane. Really fun. I really enjoyed it, guys. Look out for the next video. Give me some suggestions in the comments. Like the video if you liked it. Favourite it if you really liked it. And subscribe if you want to see future videos similar to this one. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye for now.